grab a pen, some paper, sit down, and get ready for Spillin' the Tea Tuesday. I wanted to remind you guys what has been on the previous videos because I noticed that a lot of the questions were what I've already discussed. So the first video, I reviewed Everyone Is You Pushed Out and how to ace life and become unstoppable. The second video included discussion on third parties, circumstances don't matter, ignore the 3D persist, stopping hot-cold behavior, choosing a new SP, why the time delay is faster for others, inspired action with starting a new business. So I talked about those things. Some of you may or may not know the interesting story about how I manifested, had what I feel like is an instant manifestation. My mom had received a bunch of our Christmas gifts and I was over at her house and she went to open the box that it came in, the box that it was delivered in. And she pulled out this desk calendar that was for my son. And it was so funny to me. It's full of obscenities. It's like the 2021 fucking calendar or something. It says something like that, a fucking calendar, whatever it says. And I thought it was so funny. And I said, I want that. And she's like, well, you know, I got it for your son. And I'm like, really? Because I love that. I want one of these. And she's like, well, I didn't order you one. And I was like kind of whining about it saying, well, I kind of want one. And lo and behold, when she emptied out the box, there was a second one that she did not order in the box for me. And strangely enough, the invoice showed that there was two, but there only should have been one. And I ended up getting my calendar. Now, I can't jump back in a time machine and not want that calendar and see if there was only one in there because, you know, we're not able to do that yet. Well, I mean, you could argue about that, but I'm not going to argue about that here. But anyway, I got something that I wanted. And today's message is do epic shit. Yeah, do some epic shit. Like manifest the fuck out of what you want. That's what I have to say about that. There's a handful of questions. I picked the ones that were either the most interesting or the most requested. And like I said, quite a few questions that you guys had have already been addressed in 2 different videos. So why don't you check them out if you're wondering about any of those topics that I've already mentioned. But the question that I'm going to start with is how to feel it real without feeling delusional. So you have to remember when you are affirming from the reality that you want to be in. You are affirming as if you already have exactly what you want. Because if you're affirming my SP's madly in love with me, or I'm in a committed relationship, or I'm a perfect size 10, or I have $1 million in the bank, whatever it is, you're saying that statement is like you already have it. And so that is, thinking from the end, feeling it real as far as when you're affirming and you are looping your affirmations that for that short time while you're affirming, you may temporarily feel like it's real. You may get lost in your imagination. You may have a visualization. You may just feel good about it. You don't even have to necessarily see the visualization that your brain is forming because you're forming one anyway, but you just may have feelings of feeling good about what it is that you're affirming, which is like feeling it real. Feeling it real is also as when you're affirming it, it feels natural to you, like because you're saying how you would tell a friend. And so when you're affirming like you would tell a friend or decreeing it with authority or any of that, you're kind of for those moments feeling it real. Because if you're saying, yeah, of course I have $1 million in the bank, I'm a multimillionaire. You're kind of having that feeling of feeling it real when you're repeating and repeating and repeating it. But as far as feeling delusional goes, you have to use the fact that you are multifaceted. You have a duality that exists within you because you have your subconscious, that's one part, and then you have your ego, that's another part, and then you have the third part of you that's able to step back and be the observer because you're able to observe your thoughts. When you're thinking and your mind is on autopilot, there is a part of you that can step back and acknowledge what you're thinking. Well, clearly, if there is a part of you that can step back and observe the thought, that part of you is not having the thought because you're seeing what the thought is. So the way that I say that you can feel it real without feeling delusional is you've learned about manifestation and you've come to understand that in order to manifest what you want, you have to think thoughts that are in line with that manifestation. You have to think thoughts that are from the end of that reality that you want to be in. So if you want to be in a loving, committed relationship and you're not, like you're in no contact, you're affirming SP and I are in a loving, committed relationship, or SP's constantly contacting me. He's blowing up my phone. He's obsessed with me. I'm all he thinks about. Well, that is not necessarily what is in your reality being shown to you at that moment. But the part of you that can observe, the part of you that can step back and monitor your thoughts knows, okay, this isn't what's happening right now because what's going on around me are just my old thoughts playing out. It's just, this old dead reality that's just based on old previous thoughts. that part of you is able to say, okay, I look at it logically because I'm logical. Okay, so I know what's being shown to me. It's Star Wars right now. It's this old film. It's this old bullshit playing out that I could give two fucks about. But I know that if I keep my thoughts in line with my manifestation, that's what's going to be mirrored back to me, reflected back to me in my 3D reality. So what you then choose to do is like mental conditioning. If you have an athlete, if you have someone who is training to be an Olympian because they have a skill, they have an ability to be a gymnast or to be a swimmer, and the coaches see in them the ability to do that task, right? They're telling them all the time, you're an Olympian, you're a gold medal winner. Well, they know that they don't have a gold medal. They know that they're not an Olympian, but they're conditioning themselves because they know by telling their mind that they're an Olympian and they pushed to train them that they will become that Olympian. You're kind of doing a similar thing in a way of, matter of speaking, because you're telling yourself, I have this, I have this, I have this, knowing that that is what causes it to manifest, because keeping your thoughts in line with your manifestation is what causes something to manifest. So that's not being delusional. That is like saying, okay, I know what's really going on, but that's not the reality I want. That's not the reality I'm going to want to be in. So I'm going to keep my thoughts in line with my manifestation because I know that's what will make it manifest. And I'm going to enjoy this feeling I have while I'm affirming and persisting and feel it real and live from the end and think from the end and think as though I have it. But that's not delusional because I know what the truth is. And I know that I'm doing this to manifest. So that is a very long-winded explanation of that question. And I hope that that makes sense to you. And I'm going to segue into what a clean mental diet is, because we're talking about the observer. And a lot of you had questions about a clean mental diet. Having a clean mental diet makes sure that your thoughts are in line with your manifestation. It is making sure that when you think about what it is that you want to manifest, that you're thinking things that are like literally in line with what you want. So in other words, you pay attention to your thoughts. And if they aren't in line with your manifestation, you affirm for what you want. So if Felicia is telling you he's never going to text you, you would affirm no. Or you would be like, no, of course he's texting me. He's texting me right now. He texts me all the time because he's madly in love with me. We're in a committed relationship. And of course he is, because I'm the sexiest bitch on this planet. Men are falling at their feet to get to me. And I'm the upper power of my reality. And whatever I say goes, I always get what I want, period. And so you're going to affirm and persist for what you want as part of keeping your mental diet clean. Now, another part that is important to briefly bring up is that when you, I'm thinking how to word this. You have to watch not just the little thoughts that sneak through that try to be sneaky or what's on autopilot, but, Felicia always tries to sneak things under the radar. Like you're going to be watching a TV show, or you could be watching a TV show, and you'll see the guy on there acting like a fool, and you'll be like, ugh, my SP does that. My SP is such an ass. Negative thought, not in line with your manifestation. You see a couple walking out there, or you read a success story and you're like, where the fuck is my shit? My SP's being such a douche. I don't have my manifestation. Negative thought, not in line with your manifestation. Your girlfriend calls you up and she's bitching about her boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. Doesn't matter. And you're like, my dude does that too. My dude was just like that. Negative thought, not in line with your manifestation. Now you're bitching. You're posting all over the place that you're never going to have your SP, that he ghosts you all the time. He always has you blocked. Talking about negative circumstances, not in line with your manifestation. That's not part of a clean mental diet. A clean mental diet is that you affirm. And then when you think a thought not in line with your manifestation, you affirm and persist. And when you see shit going on around you, you turn that to your advantage. If you see someone manifesting what they want, if they've manifested their SP, instead of thinking, where the fuck is mine? Where's my shit? Think, oh, this girl just got her shit. That means I have mine too. This queen just got her shit. That means my shit is here. Oh, all my friends are getting engaged around me. That means my manifestation's coming. Those are birds. Those are birds. These are my birds here. This means my shit's here, period. Don't get too excited about the birds. Don't get stuck on the birds to where you just manifest a bunch of birds and stuff like that. But if you start seeing stuff that's in line with your manifestation, you assign the meaning to everything, assign meanings that work for you. I'd be like, hell yeah, that means my shit's here. Fucking period. And so this is how you keep a mental diet clean, is that whatever goes on up here, you're keeping an eye on that as the observer, and you're making sure whatever's going through there is in line with your manifestation. Now, are you going to catch every single thought? Not necessarily, but you don't have to catch every single thought that you ever have about your manifestation, but you want the majority of the thoughts that you have to be in line with your manifestation. You want to do the best that you can to just keep just your mental diet clean and just affirm and persist. And when you think of your manifestation, oh, I already have it. It's mine. It belongs to me. And that's what keeping a clean mental diet is. So I'm going to move on to the next question now. Can SP have a will so strong, too strong to manifest them, or can they be so greedy with material things that they won't leave what they have to come to you? I'm going to answer your question, but I want you to take all those thoughts and put them in the trash where they belong, in the trash. I will not even crumple up a piece of paper to represent those thoughts and put them in the trash, because nobody in your reality has enough free will to reject you, period. Unless you're trying to give it to them, which you can't. I mean, you know, I've had this discussion before on the free will and free will being an illusion, because regardless of whether you think they have free will, which I don't think they actually truly do, or whether it is because they are mirroring back to you, reflecting back to you what your thoughts and assumptions are, you're either assuming they have free will or you're assuming that they're going to reject you. Either way, it's an assumption that you create. I think it's mostly you just are assuming that they're going to reject you, and that's what happens. But there is no free will or no will strong enough to reject you. Take that version of your SP and recreate him. Put this stuff in the garbage can. You can recreate him as a person who is like humble, kind, compromising, who will do anything for you, who, you know, puts love above money. List out those type of qualities for that person and then affirm he's perfection. But I would take that stuff and put it in the garbage can. Put it in the garbage can, period. That's absolute, like, period. Your SP cannot reject you. Your SP has to follow your thoughts and assumptions. So if your dominant thoughts about your SP is that he's kind, loving, he's in love with you, you're affirming for the relationship, and you're seeing him as a man who would choose love over material things, or you're seeing him as a man who compromises or who is humble, that is how he's going to show up. Don't allow your SP to be a stubborn ass. Don't allow him to be a stubborn ass. You're in control of him. Get on your throne. Give the orders. Your reality. He must conform. Now, this doesn't mean that we treat SPs in our reality like objects, things like that. They're people. They feel emotions. They have thoughts, but they have to conform to what you think. They have to conform to your assumptions. So make assumptions that work for you. He's now kind, loving, and would rather be with you than any amount of money because you're his diamond, not whatever's over in this over here. He doesn't have the free will to reject you. His will is not strong enough because it's your reality and he must conform. So I would get affirming and persisting, and I would throw that away. Throw it away. You can only manifest an SP. This was a comment. You can only manifest an SP once. If you mess it up, you can't manifest them again. That whole entire sentence needs to go in the dumpster, like to the fucking landfill. Like, doesn't even deserve to sit in the trash can. It goes in the dump. In the dump. That is not true at all. There are plenty of people who have manifested their SP. They didn't keep a clean mental diet. They had a poor self-concept. And so, you know, they fell into the illusion of the 3D or reacted to a bunch of circumstances, and they started thinking negative thoughts, and they manifested some unpleasant circumstances again, and they've manifested them back. So that is untrue because this is your reality, and people must conform to as you assume. It doesn't matter. Not that you want to create situations where it's on, off, on, off, on, off, but it doesn't matter. If it is the 5,000th time that you and your SP are reconnecting, you're the operant power, and it's your decision on whether they stay or go, because they have to conform to your thoughts and assumptions. So as long as you are keeping your thoughts in line with being in a loving, committed relationship with that person, that is what they have to mirror back to you, reflect back to you. There is no such thing that you can only manifest an SP once, and then if it gets messed up because of your mental diet and you start thinking a bunch of negative thoughts, and they, you know, because it hasn't hardened into fact and you fall off the manifestation wagon because it is a lifestyle, and, you know, some unpleasant circumstances happen that you could never manifest them again. Hell no. Hell no. 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 Trash. You could manifest your SP if you want. Like I said, it doesn't matter if it's the first time manifesting them back or the 5,000th or the millionth. They must conform to your thoughts and assumptions, period. A lot of people wanted to know about money. So manifesting money is easy as manifesting anything else. It's just money. So you affirm things like, I'm a money magnet. I turn money on and off like water. I receive money from all sources. I receive money out of the blue. Money's always raining down on me. I manifest money out of thin air. I always have a minimum of $100 million in my bank account at all times. My bank account multiplies tenfold every day. I can't even count as much money as I have. I've got so much money, I can't even fucking count it all, period. My business is booming. I make thousands of dollars a day. For every dollar I spend, I get 100 back. It doesn't matter what it is. You can affirm for as much money as you want. The big deal is money mindset. You got to have a positive money mindset. Whenever you see anything that has to do with any money, and I've told this before, I'll say it again. I said this months ago in one of the money challenges in the VIP group. If you're affirming for money and you're wanting to manifest money, but you're running around town telling yourself you can't afford that. I can't afford this. It's not in the budget. Oh, that's too expensive. Where are you going to be? Not having any money, because that's not a good money mindset. You want to have a millionaire money mindset. And that means anytime you see something, you're telling yourself you can afford to buy it. You're telling yourself that you can have it. You're telling yourself that it belongs to you. So it might look something like this. You're at the store. Maybe you're at Macy's. I love Macy's. And you see a Coach purse. It's $500. Because those things can be quite expensive. Well, $400. Who knows? I don't buy those from Macy's. But anyway, you can sit there and tell yourself, I could easily afford that Coach purse, but I'm not going to buy it today because I don't feel like it. I'm too busy to buy it. Or you can say, I could easily afford that Coach purse. I have more than enough money for it. It's easily within my budget, but I think that's ugly as fuck. And I'm going to wait until I have something I like more to come out. You can be looking through homes. You're looking on the internet. You're looking at what type of house you may want to live in someday. And you see a house that is very expensive. Maybe it's a couple $1,000,000. And you say, oh, that house is a drop in the bucket. I could easily afford that home, but it only has 4 bathrooms and I require 6. Be outrageous if you want to, but the more that you're telling yourself you can afford this, you can afford that, you're having the mindset of, yes, I have more than enough money. Of course I do. Now, when you're looking at the 3D reality, you have bills. You can't go out and spend $100,000 if you've got $3.53 in the bank, right? Right. But you deal with whatever you need to deal with. You pay whatever bills you need to pay. You know what reality is. This, again, is like not being delusional. The part of you that is the thinker, the part of you that makes the decisions, the part of you that can be the observer knows how much money you have, but you deal with what you need to deal with. At the same time, while you're affirming and persisting, the minute you log out of your bank account, oh, I'm so fucking rich. I have a minimum of $100,000 in all of my bank accounts. I could easily afford anything that I fucking want. I'm lucky. I'm lucky as fuck. I win at everything that I do. I'm the luckiest bitch on the face of this planet. Everything that I play, I win. I'm a winner in everything. Money's always raining down on me. It literally comes to me from everywhere. I don't have to lift a fucking finger and I have money. I don't have to work for shit and I have money, period. Because I'm wealthy. I'm that rich bitch. That's what you tell yourself. And that's what you tell yourself all the time. And then watch the money come flowing in because you'll be a fucking money magnet. Money's going to rain down on you. You're going to receive money from all sources and you'll be rich as hell. So, oh, the last thing I wanted to mention, someone asked about shifting realities. Now, I'm not going to get into the long-winded discussion about people who subscribe to the concept of like being reality shifters where they go to sleep and then wake up in a different reality where they purposely do that. But I've seen myself shift a reality. I'll tell you the story real quick because it's kind of interesting. I was doing a research paper. Some of you guys already know this, some of you don't. But when you're doing a research paper, you're in a database. And so I had all my parameters in a database and I was looking for an article about schizophrenia. And so I hit search and I have an assumption that only the lazy people take the ones that are from the top, from the top. And so I said, or thought, I wonder what number 35 has. So I scrolled down to number 35 and it looked like an article that was going to work for me. And before I clicked on it, I thought or said, doesn't matter because I talk to myself quite frequently, actually. I wish this was the number 13 because I have something for the number 13. Click on the article. It opens an article, but it's not the article that it didn't match the article that I was looking at, or the title rather. And it opened some article about some dead dude that contributed something to schizophrenia. It had nothing to do with what I wanted. And I thought, well, maybe I hit the one above or below, right? Because sometimes weird things happen. I clicked back to search results and I shit you not, I could see that they were titles because it was like there was blue and it had the underlines and like a little bit of black. And they were all varying sizes. And for somewhere around, I think like 2 to 3 seconds, I saw these titles moving and I couldn't read them. I could notice there were titles, but they were moving too fast for me to actually read the letters. And it was very brief, less than 5 seconds, I would say for sure, but maybe 2 or 3 seconds, maybe 4, where they just shifted around. And then number 35 was suddenly the title that it had opened up. And I know that you guys are going to know where the title of the article that I wanted that I ended up using was. Yes, it was number 13. So I believe that that was shifting realities right in front of my face. And because it was number 35, and after I said I wanted it to be number 13 and clicked on it, that wasn't the article anymore, clicked back, and now after everything shifted, the article that actually opened up was the one that actually opened, but the title had now moved to being number 35, and then the title I actually wanted have moved all the way to 13. So, do you shift realities? I would say so, because that's not a coincidence to me. I looked at it as I shifted in the reality where that was number 13, because all I did was click on a title, and before then have the thought or said out loud that I wished it was number 13. So that is an example of shifting realities. Just continue to affirm and persist. Stay laser focused on what you want so you can become the version of you that is in the reality where what you want is there. Become the version of yourself that has what you want. Affirm and persist so that your thoughts and assumptions can form images in your mind that get imprinted that represent what you want to manifest so that it can be mirrored back to you, reflected back to you. Every answer to almost every question is going to be affirm and persist. I saw a lot of questions about like, how do you manifest this? You literally affirm and persist. You affirm and persist. Circumstances don't matter. Third parties don't matter. Distance doesn't matter. All of that shit does not matter. Doesn't matter. Not matter. So I hope that you found this empowering. Keep being the operant power. Keep put on your crown, give your fucking orders, say what you want, affirm and persist, keep going, because we got our fucking shit here. We got our fucking shit, period. So I know that you will see me soon, because there'll be another Spilling the Tea Tuesday in a week. So keep your eye out for the post on Monday where you can drop some of the things that you want me to discuss, that you want me to break down, and we'll have some fun with it. So as you guys always know, I will check in with you later.